you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, Momani. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, we're ready to get started. This is being recorded, so for the rest of the people who are not here yet, you guys can rewatch it on YouTube, because I'll have it posted on YouTube once we finalize everything. But I'm really excited to have this conversation. I wanted to have it for a while now. So we can start with the what do you call Web3. Tim, you're coming in twice. Interesting.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Momani, did we lose you? Are you still there?
I'm still here. I think my audio just went off real weird. Okay. So the topic is MetaVerse, Web3, and gamify, and how the future of AI is going to change pretty much all of us to be in the meta world. I want to start with the Web3 first. For those of you guys who don't understand Web3, I have Inspector here. He has pretty, what do you call, good knowledge about the Web3, and he'll be talking about it more than I would, because when I first heard about it, the concept, I was extremely fascinated. So, so to find someone who's really knowledgeable about it and has the background that he has, it's very interesting. And then from there, um, we'll go ahead and talk about crypto, gamify, and how all these things are going to all come together in order to have this new market that we will have. Very excited to have altcoin. Everyone, welcome. Altcoin, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for having me. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of give an overview of Web3 crypto and how I think this is all connecting into the metaverse. Feel free to jump in at any time as I go through this. And I won't spend too much time here, Momani, so we can continue with the conversation, but let's lay the land on where we're at. Web3 is symbolizing the third generation of web technology. We've gone through two different versions stepping into Web3 right now. So the first version of the internet is what we call Web 1. Very basic websites, flat pages, read only. You couldn't really interact with the content you were seeing on the web. Web 2 is all about getting into the sense of states, where the server is able to house information that you're uploading, and you're able to have richer engagements because of the technology stack that is engineered around Web 2. These are companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google that I often point to, where you're able to, again, upload your information, you're able to interact with that platform, you're able to have a voice and gather a community, and it becomes more social. You get that social graph as part of that Web 2. And then all of the e-commerce that stood up as well during that time frame of the late 90s into the 2020s where we're at right now. Web3 is just coming online. Web3 is ambiguous. It has a lot of fluidity to it right now. There are standards that are still being built. There are algorithms that are still being optimized. So it's untapped potential right now. Some companies are stepping in and starting to understand what Web3 is and what the potential is. Others are waiting, and some people don't even know and don't really care. But the pieces of Web3 that we start to see coming together are technologies like the blockchain. The blockchain is what cryptocurrencies run off of. The blockchain is also what non-fungible tokens, NFTs, are tapped into. And I think there will be other mechanics as well that will come about and be established as part of the principles of Web3. Some of those that we don't necessarily need to get into today, but something to bookmark is the decentralized autonomous organization, the DAO, as it's called. What that is it's a way for individuals to participate in governing. And the reason why I bring this up is because with cryptocurrency, with NFTs, companies are starting digital economies because of the transactions that are happening inside of these economies. And whenever you have an economy, you need some type of organizational body to help govern that economy and to make rules and legislation and so forth. So that's why the DAO comes to mind as soon as we start talking about cryptocurrency and economies, is to note that there are solutions in place that help us decentralize and still have a sense of law and order as well tied into some of these economies. So that's kind of the space of Web3. It's, again, new technology is the main concept there. It is also digital economies coming into play, and lots of fluidity, lots of potential also at the same time. And a couple of things to call out is that anyone can tie into Web3. There are no real boundaries around it. Also, the number of different crypto coins and projects that can be stood up is also, for the most part, infinite. Anyone can go in and start to utilize this technology. So those are some overview, or that's some overview and some important principles for us to think about as we consider Web3 and crypto. One last point that I'll kind of connect the pieces here is this realm of MetaVerse that you were talking about, Mo Money, and how is this all going to play together? The MetaVerse, and we can dive into this in much more detail, but just giving a high-level overview, it's the sense of creating a transformation where we have our analog world that we're in, our physical world that we're in, and then we have our digital worlds. And right now, for the most part, all of us interact with our digital worlds through the screens that we have on our laptops, on our phones, TVs, and so forth. It's a hybrid as we step into this notion of what is the metaverse. It's trying to transport the human experience into this sense of digital worlds. So that can come to play in a lot of different ways. It can come to play in VR. It can come to play in AR as well. So that mixed hybrid of viewing the world through some glasses, and then you're seeing digital representations on top of your table or so forth. But the point here is that you're trying to infuse the human experience into a digital landscape. So those are some of the kind of an overview of the high principles that you called out, Mo Money. So I'll pause there. Thoughts or questions that come to mind from that initial overview?
If you guys have any questions, you can definitely unmute yourself and ask questions. I will also go in more into depth on the metaverse and how people are going to be transitioned into that world very soon. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask about that highlight of the Web3. If you don't, I can go ahead and continue on. Okay, so it doesn't look like we do. So altcoin,
Mhm.
I've heard you speak multiple times about the Web3, and most of the stuff that you've said is like very fascinating and interesting. So to me, I'm a researcher. I love researching, especially in my industry. And I found out, how like the last couple weeks, that last time we spoke, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like all coming in together. Like the
Yeah.
web. Okay, we need that because in order for example, we have over like 40% of the world, not world, but like just in the US, 40% of people have quit their job, okay, to
Yep.
start their own projects. All right. Because they understand that now, like they've already been like introduced to a lifestyle where they can, no longer have to go to work or drive to work in order for them to make a living. Okay. They got a taste of like, okay, I could be home, okay, like in the comfort of my own home and still make the same amount of money or even more and live a fulfilled life. They're happier working from home than they were. So I'm like, okay, then AI is where this comes in. As we all know that AI is already here. It's already doing majority of the what you call work, and it's only gonna get worse where people are being replaced with the AI or at least working alongside with AI. So
Mhm.
Web3 is like here, okay, or being developed. And then we were talking about the metaverse. Facebook introduced it, but I've been studying the metaverse since 2014 because I remember when Facebook bought Oculus in 2014 for like $1 billion or something. So these all these things, okay, and then we have crypto. So
Mhm.
we have the Web3, we have metaverse, okay, and then we have what do you call it, gamify. So to me, I was doing my research and I came, it's like, okay, well, how are people going to be just transitioning? Like some people are not just going to transition to the metaverse. There's going to be a lot of fear, there's going to be a lot of questions, and there's going to be a lot of like lashback. Then I heard about play to earn. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is how they're going to do it, is incentivizing people to use a certain product so that they can get paid by using it. For me, I'm not a consumer. I'm more of a producer. I like producing things. I love creating things. So I'm not just going to go into a platform where, I'm in there for like hours and hours, okay, like Facebook, spending hours and hours, and also Instagram, and not getting paid for it. Okay, so as I did my research, it's like, okay, games is going to be really big. Like we're talking about $20 trillion industry in the crypto gaming. Okay, people already play games, so this is going to be like the easiest transition. If everyone already plays games in this world, okay, from 2020 all the way to right now, um, Roblox and what's that other game that kids play? I forgot the name. If you guys know, it's another
Minecraft is very similar to them.
Minecraft, right? Have done like over $800 billion, right? Because a lot of people have spent so much time playing those games online.
And well, Money,
So,
if I can step in real quick, the
okay,
what's important to call out in those games that you just mentioned, they are economic engines. Granted, the economic engine is geared towards a single company who owns Minecraft or owns Roblox, like you were saying. A play to earn is a sense of, instead of just making all this money for that company and you're spending all your free time, you're spending your money to access that game. Instead, play to earn shifts that entire model on its head, and it says, okay, well, instead of everything being geared towards that company and all the dollars flowing in that one direction, how do we then think of this as a real world economy where anyone can participate in making money? And so I just want to connect that piece as far as play to earn is flipping the entire model on its head, and it will take over because you're providing a better experience. You're providing a much better financial experience for those people who engage with the content on a play to earn network.
exactly, and that's exactly what I was going to say, but you said it perfectly because right now you're to play the game for free, okay, and then now it's like, oh well, you can get rewarded to play the game, and I think that's where we're headed, okay. Like you mentioned, Web 2 is where corporations pretty much own your data, okay, they own you, they own your data. Every time you go on Facebook, Instagram, you type something, you share something, that data is being collected and it's being sold to other entities, and those entities know exactly what you want. For example, like years ago, People are like, oh, if you speak on to your phone and just say a word like a mattress, it would pop up everywhere. That's because you agreed as a user on that platform to say, okay, you can use my data, you can use my microphone, you can use all of these tools to know who I am. So these companies know you, they have a profile of you, they know exactly who you are, they know your behavior, they know what you purchased, they know what you've eaten, they know all of this about you. So they're able to sell that data to other entities to even make more income. And what you're saying is Web3 is going to give the power and privacy back to the people, if I'm understanding, and also based on my own research too.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how this all unfolds and what's going to happen here. But you can see Facebook positioning themselves well to tap into the metaverse. And what I would say is these companies like Facebook, they want as much information about you as possible.
Yes.
And so if the information they're able to capture is based on the devices that are around you and the information that you tell those devices, your Facebook profile, your all of those likes that you do on Facebook, what's happening there is that you are creating a customer profile of attributes where they know for me or for Mo Money, like we have our very different and separate attributes that define us as a human being, and that's one version of us, or a transpose of us that they have in their profile. Now, as we step into the metaverse and you start to create these worlds around you and you start to place items in these worlds, and Facebook is listening to that, essentially what they're doing is that they're able to paint a better picture of who I am versus who Mo Money is, and capture more information about my likes, my interests. And in so doing, you're able to create richer or more accurate machine learning models to help predict what is the best merchandising opportunity for me. So there's a lot there as far as expanding the view of how much information we're sharing in this meta world. And that's one thing to keep track of, is anytime you're engaging with a platform, what is the goal and the intent of that platform? Are they looking to merchandise you? Are they looking to use your time and energy as a mechanic for, I'm going to throw another principle out here, but farming is one aspect that we can get into later, which is part of play to earn, where you're getting paid for engaging with a platform, and that's allowing you to tap into a liquidity pool of tokens that are put out there. But the point there is like, understand the platform that you're engaging with, and then what is the overall arching strategy of the company that's there. Meta is going to be all about understanding who you are. They want you to engage with this world, so that way they know what your world looks like, so they can monetize on top of you. Other play to earn organizations, they want you to engage, so that way you farm tokens out of their liquidity pool and you're getting paid for that. There's like a whole nother strategy and branch there. So as the consumer, as the individual, we need to get better at figuring out where do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to spend your resources, and make sure that you are set up as best as possible to engage with this future technology, and instead of be proactive instead of being reactive to what's coming.
Exactly. And that also touches on like how like I said, a lot of people, they don't like new ideas or new technology. They want things to stay the same. So but with like talks like this, sharing it on the internet, it can open our minds, and you could see the opportunity that exists. Okay. If you just look at crypto itself, crypto has created so much opportunity for so many people in so short of amount of time. It's insane. Okay. And that's just starting. Like, you guys who are like into crypto or getting what called researching crypto, it's still new. It's still a baby. Okay. The technology, a lot of people don't even understand it. Even though we're talking about it, a lot of us don't understand it to an extent, unless you're like a developer or the creator. Um, and that's what we're like trying to do, bring awareness to the space, so that you have enough knowledge, okay, to make the right decisions moving forward, because the world is about to shift and is shifting. As we know, as we've seen from since the pandemic until now, things haven't been the same. Okay, it's been completely different. Okay, and it's just going to continue changing rapidly. Um, And I'm really excited that Facebook mentioned metaverse, because I was like, okay, this is the next transition of our economy. This is how we're going to have a world without border. Okay, you're going to be able to work or create your own contact without any border. You could be at your own home, your own office, or wherever you are in the world, create something and share it in the world in the way that we haven't been able to do, which is so exciting because bunch of opportunities out there right now. And it's your, of course, due diligence to do your own research and understand what's about to happen. And when you do that, you are able to position yourself for you to win and for others to win too. Um, I want to talk what more things are going to be in the metaverse, because like a lot of people think, oh well, is it going to be like sim where I'll be able to have an avatar, go shopping and all that? Yes, I think it's going to be like sim. I've never played sim, but I've seen my wife play it, and the concept of that game is very interesting. You have an avatar. That avatar pretty much does everything. Okay, that avatar goes to work, it makes money, it buys houses, all that, right? So the metaverse, I think some parts of it, there's going to be the economy side, okay, and then there's going to be the like the game side, and then there's just going to be like the fun side. um and the economy side is most likely going to be where it's going to be like the biggest. I'm not saying that all of them are going to be big. I think it's just going to be the biggest because companies like Facebook and now Microsoft are talking about getting into that, something like that, where your avatar, for example, like right now we're using Instagram. Okay, you go to Instagram, make a post, whatever. If you guys noticed, Instagram has added a store. So if you're like a company or a brand, you can actually place your store in the front of people where they can just click on your items, the items that they want. So I'm like, okay, how are they going to transform this into the metaverse? Well, if you have an avatar, okay, let's say you want to go buy a dress or a shirt or whatever, your avatar can try on that dress, okay, or that shirt before you even buy it and see how it looks like on you. And then immediately that will be shipped to your house. So it's going to be more interactive, more engaging, and more of like a club that you go to where you socialize with other people. I think that's where we're headed when it comes to the metaverse. And then you have the gaming side where people are going to get paid to play games. And I think we are in the same group too, like as one of the altcoins that we bought that is like trying to solve this problem. And there's several of them out there, but one of this one is solving like, okay, well, we have this game, we have this service, and I think it's going to do very well in the future. And there's some like that you can search on. So how do you position yourself to make money in this? There's multiple ways. If you're a creator, you could literally have someone create an NFT. Okay, you can even create your own metaverse, where I can create like Mo's world or something, and people can come into my world if it's interesting enough and engage in that. Okay, and then you have like myself also and other people on here, investors, traders, and just regular people, right? So as an investor, you could buy projects that are solving problems. Okay, when I look into when we're heading to the future, I usually find something that is like solving a problem for the world. Okay, so if you can find a project that is like solving something that is different, and has their own way of doing something, and the community is very strong. Remember, community is going to be big in the future. Everything is going to be based on community. And community is very strong, and they're solving problems, and they have that work ethic and the dream to push, to what do you call it, lead their community to the future. Those are going to be huge. Okay. If you're like I said, if you're into crypto, those type of projects are the ones that are going to last. I believe 99% of like these NFTs that are out right now are not going to exist in the future because they're not providing any value. They're not providing any tangible like value that is going to exist. So when this next correction comes out, some of those assets are going to be wiped out. But the ones that are solving real problems, real world problems, whether it's online and offline, those are the ones that are going to stay and produce and help, us as humanity move forward. Okay.
And Momani, if I can jump in there. So what you're referring to there is the utility of the token. And some tokens have zero utility, as you called out. Some have utility. The point to keep in mind here is that the utility has underlying transactions. So purchases or sells, or there's some ability of that utility. The best example I can think of is gas on the Ethereum network and needing gas in order to make transactions happen. That's an example of how Ethereum has positioned itself well as a utility inside of this blockchain, where that's not going to go away. So projects that have a sense of utility will remain because of that economic engine that's going to buoy up their price through bear and bull markets and so forth. Coins without utility, I think, are going to become very few and far between. That those are your gold standards, like Bitcoin, where everyone just agrees like that is a standard that we rally around. Exactly. And so saying that we pay attention to which coins and which projects are becoming standards. Ethereum is again a great call out there, where they figured out a utility, and now that utility is becoming a standard that everyone else connects into. Look for that same model in other areas, and by so doing, you'll be able to understand what are going to be the right projects for the metaverse, or for some of these other, for play to earn and so forth. Look for standards, look for utility. By so doing, you'll be tapping into these future economic engines that are being developed in real time.
Exactly. And that's a great way to put it. Utility, very important. Community, important as well. And understanding what's going to be here, also very important, because there's like I said, one thing about cryptocurrency right now is, okay, a lot of people are newbies. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, they come in, and I think we spoke about this altcoin before. They come in where they're just expecting to make money. Okay, and they have a little money or a lot of money or whatever, and they put into a project, and then that project could be really good, or it could be really bad, depending. So because you don't have any knowledge in the space, and you just come in, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this real quick and make money, and you're for your own personal gain, then most likely you're gonna get wrecked because you haven't done enough research. Your goal coming in was, okay, well, I just want to make money. Now, I'm not saying money is bad. I'm in a field where money is all we do, is all we talk about, it's all we understand, but at the same time, there's a lot of research behind what we do. I don't just get into something until I understand what is happening. Until I understand that, I'm not putting my money in, and I'm not sharing it with my, clients or anyone else. So understanding that's very important. Doing your own research is very important. Talking to other community leaders, extremely important. Like, all this stuff will help you as an investor, or whatever you are in this space, whatever you want to be, to tread the waters safely, and also make the most money with the lowest risk. That is something that I have been doing myself. Is I do my research, okay, I calculate my risk. If something has a higher risk, I discard it, or I put it on a shelf. If something has a lower risk but a higher return, I go ahead and get into that. And of course I share it too. And also, the other thing I wanted to talk about is, like, I know I don't have I'm not into NFT like that, because I'm not much of like a creator, but I see the potential of NFTs. NFTs are great if they have a great tangible asset backed behind it. For example, I heard someone talking about how you can create an NFT and have a real product attached to it, and then when that NFT price goes up, the product of that asset goes up too. Like, if it's a watch, then that watch now is worth the same amount as the NFT, or even more. So that to me was like, wow, okay, well, now I see like a use case for an NFT for a very long time. I was like, this is retarded. Yes. And if you have any questions or actually want to talk, you can unmute yourself and say something. You don't have to type. You could just unmute, say something, literally, like interrupt me. It's totally fine. Because I want this to be engaging. So next time when other people see this, they're like, oh, wow, this was amazing. That's what I want. That's the feeling that I want to bring in the value. So yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask for me or Inspector. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, so I have one. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, so regarding the NFT things, I see what you're saying about your, not really, because your business is making money, not so much focusing on the creators, the content creators, yada, 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 yada. But I've noticed this thing, because I do music as like a personal hobby or whatever, and a lot of my friends, they do music. Well, they're playing shows or they're doing promotion or they're putting shows together. There's this whole conglomerate of people in my city, as well as other, states here in America, at least, that they're stuck up on the novelty of NFTs right now, right? They're kind of like, oh my gosh, I can get this personalized thing that nobody else can have. And then somebody else is gone and was this wave of people, oh, what if I just screenshot it? And that we all know that that's not how it works. Right. So back up to the real world use case, I think it may have been me you were talking to about this. I'm not exactly sure. A couple years back, a couple of other buddies, we started a financial services company. And right now we're working on one project, which I'm not going to shill it, don't worry. But the whole idea is having a real world use case. So the example would be like, say I own a beauty salon, right? And I want to offer 1,000 NFTs that are, the whole idea behind them is that, you pay some money, like $100 or whatever, and you get or say you pay $1,000 for the NFT and it gets you a lifetime of free haircuts for whoever holds that NFT. And my idea with that was, well, hey, like CVS, Walgreens, even Blockbuster, they had those little keychain tags, right? Wouldn't there be a way you could say, pop a QR code onto a little keychain tag or something like that, that links it to a wallet or to your NFT, links it to you, essentially, something that's physical, tangible, you can transfer, but it also is linked to the blockchain so that we know there's only one of one. It cannot be more than one of one. Right. But the idea is that, all right, let's say I sell 1,000 of these, my business gets all the money from it now. Now there's 1,000 people out there who have, the free haircuts for life. They can give it to somebody else, or they can use it for themselves. They can give it to their kids, or they can, at the end of the day, resell it because supply and demand, they're going to be able to resell that for more than it was originally worth because we're not making any more of them. This kind of goes back to the watch. We're still on the same track?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is where I see the use case in something like that. Having a business, for example, like I'm going to take it from beauty salon and I'm going to put it into something that I can actually relate to and that I'm going to try to gear this towards. And that is shows, like big shows, like festivals and stuff, right? Say you've got, your big, I'm going to use like EDC because everybody knows what Electronic Daisy Carnival is. It's huge, it's 3 days, it's 400,000 people, yada, yada, yada. And it's put on by like Disco Donnie and some of these other huge promotion companies. The idea is that we market this NFT to the promotion companies. They sign up with us. They get a huge discount. They're able to offer their own discount as well for people who hold and support based on like a, almost like a loyalty system, if that makes sense. I feel like that right there is kind of where that triple layer of interplay, so to speak. I think that is where NFTs are really going to shine the most coming up into this. I'm kind of agreeing with you that like the digital art fad, if I may, is going to die out. 99% I think was the number you used. They're just going to die out because they're useless. They're a novelty. They're not solving any real world problems. Where
I don't want to say they're useless. I think they have a, like, these original ones. Some of these NFTs that were like original, they're gonna stay because I believe there's gonna be like a meta museum somewhere. Okay, someone's gonna create a meta.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then they're gonna be on there for us to like go on a date on the meta and then watch those like original NFTs that were created. So I'm not saying like they're not going to be useful. I'm saying some of them are probably not going to be as like valuable
Okay.
in the real world than as they are right now. That's what I'm trying to say. So there will be a place for those type of NFTs, but it's not going to be like where, like you're saying, an artist, for example, if I was an artist, in the music industry, and I was coming up, but I have like a following of like 1 million people, what I would do is I would create an NFT of my music, okay? Of my music. I would raise money from my fans. Okay. I'll be like, hey, I'm releasing my album, but I need like $1 million or something. I'm gonna turn my music into a NFT. You guys will get that in return. And who knows, that album or that song could be worth so much in the future. You don't know that. But you're investing into something that could literally change your financial situation too as a client.
That's where I'm going with this. Okay,
you
is that the end user? I'll just be really quick with this. The end user is not necessarily the artist or the producer providing the NFT. The end user is the client or the consumer who is using the services provided by the provider of the NFT. Who
Exactly. You put it perfectly. Cherry on top. Anyone else want to chip in, say something?
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was gonna add since she I think Amelia, if I'm saying it right. I was gonna add that Nas actually is doing that, the rapper. He taking his first footsteps joining the MetaVerse thing and giving his royalties out for exchange for I guess a fiat game of some sort for
short
two
term.
songs. Short term, yeah, something like short term. I'm not too familiar with all the information and details, but that caught my attention because for one, that was very creative. And like from my understanding is I heard both of you and Mo Money talking about how this is a lot of creativity within this new opportunity. I agree because from what it looks like to me is that us as the people are people that are looking for opportunity. I feel like the metaverse can be what you make of it, pretty much in that sense. I just think from like listening to y'all convos, I feel like people gonna have to find out what it is that they like really, really quote unquote passionate about, slash what opportunity could they be really good at creating. And they can pretty much get out there to the quote unquote metaverse world or the world, if that makes sense.
Yes. Put it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to like, cause I'm like you. I'm me and you in the same thing. We in the industry of like making money.
Right.
We don't really worry about a lot of this, but I also see a lot of value in it from when I first heard about it. But having it on this call is making me really think like the beauty of this thing is that people don't need to beat themselves up about it. I think they need to find their lane in it.
That makes sense.
Also understand, everything as much as possible about it. Because just like any new investment, it's not gonna be the last thing that we invest in. I'm pretty sure of it. I would say just take baby stuff and just find your lane. And I'm not trying to sound like I know everything about it, but I'm just saying from what I'm seeing and how creative it is for like rappers like Nas, which is very big, because that he definitely can help change the industry of music. If y'all don't know, the regular labels and how labels are being kicked to the curb right now. They've been using artists for so long, so it's kind of gonna be interesting to see how metaverse and these NFTs and pretty much shape up the industry, not just in music, but everything else and everybody else niche. So I'm excited for it.
Most definitely. And the whole idea is a creator's economy when it comes to Web3 and when it comes to what they call NFTs is a creator's economy. Okay, the more you create, the more you produce, the more valuable you bring into what do you call it, this world. I think the more you will be successful as a company or even as an individual.
Bingo.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely.
I think it's important for us to keep in mind what is the goal and the intent that you're trying to use the technology for. So Amelia, you brought up some really good use cases around that that music festival. And let's kind of walk through a couple of examples of what I'm trying to speak to. So we have the technology of an NFT, and we're trying to either monetize the NFT or increase the inherent value of the experience that the customer is going through. And what does that look like in real world principles? Well, maybe in the future, and this might be an extreme use of the technology because it is very complicated. I'm not saying like everything needs to switch over to digital representations. Maybe we keep some aspects of like, here's your ticket to the music concert. Well, maybe we like your NFT is your ticket to the music concert.
That's kind of what I'm going with, is something like that.
Yeah. So that's one way you could go, but you need to think about like the costs associated with that. But what I will say is that anytime you can increase the value of the experience that the customer is getting, then you're going to attract a larger population. You're going to generate more demand. So if you have a music festival, you give your tickets out as NFTs. That's what's being purchased. That NFT then is not only your entrance to the music festival if you get the app set up, or there's a lot to solve there. But after the music festival, let's say it turns into I'm trying to think of like some big music festivals in the past that are now historic, but it turns into like something really big and everyone wants to like own a piece of that music festival. Well, your NFT is now a collectible item that could be sold on a marketplace, and that's additional value. So if you're an organizer of music festivals and everyone knows that, hey, I'm going to one of these music festivals because I want to, first of all, be there. I want to be there for the experience. That's some value. But then also I want to purchase a ticket because I know the NFTs associated with that ticket go up in value historically, then yeah. So imagine if the Beatles, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's say it's not necessarily tied to just that one single ticket for that one single show. Let's say it's tied to the actual the vendor, okay, and
Sure.
that vendor, over X amount of time, say they get a reputation for throwing really incredible shows, that they've got great food, that their amenities are top notch. I feel like that is something that would also help that what's the word here, repertoire, something like that.
Your brand, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's something that's going to help increase the value of your NFT and help the reach as well, since we're on the subject of value. Now, and that, that's why I mentioned like this 3-tiered system, because I feel like it's not something that's being done right now. I think a lot of people are just doing the one and done kind of shoot it straight. But what you're talking about as well is essentially the same thing. I mean, there has to be some investment, whether that is time, whether that is knowledge, whether that is cooperation of not only content creators, but also the investors, right? Whether that's at the low level or at the high level, like we have to come together to be able to provide valuable services and goods linked to the blockchain. Because if there isn't that, then there's no point to any of it at all. It's just gonna
And that goes down to your strategic roadmap. What is it that you're trying to do? How do you increase the value as much as possible for your customers? And then using the technology in the right way. And I think that's the hardest principle for a lot of organizations to understand, is that the technology is so new, and be innovative, be disruptive with it, but use it strategically where there's a cost to onboard all of this technology. So find that medium of existing platforms, existing technology that's easy to use, like a ticketing system, for example, and then find the right way to infuse NFTs in a roadmap that makes sense for you. Maybe your first steps are, hey, you use a traditional ticketing system, and then for everyone that comes, they also get an NFT. Your ticket's not the NFT at first, but you do get an NFT as a takeaway item that's sent along with your ticket. And then through time, allow the technology to change and shift and move over in the right capacity. And I think as anyone in this space, as you're looking at your different businesses and what's going on, be very strategic in where you spend your times and your dollars. But the fact that you're considering the technology is already step one. Use the technology the right way. Is it monetization? Is it increasing intrinsic value or perception? By so doing, you're going to be setting yourself up in a way that you can learn from the technology and figure out the right next steps.
Yes, these are all
I
great
agree.
points. Yeah,
I agree.
all great points. We have limited time for those who just joined us. This has been recorded. I'll post it on what do you call it, YouTube. You can go ahead and watch it. But
What's
first,
your YouTube channel?
I'll share it with you guys. Just message me. I'll go ahead and send it to you guys once everything's finalized. If you guys want to share your, social media taglines, you can, either on a chat or just saying it out loud. It's up to you. You don't have to, but if you want to be followed, that's an opportunity to do that. Thank you very much for all of you guys for being on here. I really appreciate this conversation. I've learned a lot myself. I hope you did. For next time, I do want to do this again in the future, and then bring in more people who are definitely, understand the space way more than myself, because to me, education is where I'm at the point where I can bring the education to myself. So, and that's what I want to do, bring, knowledgeable people like Altcoin to you guys so that you guys understand what is happening and what's going to happen so you can position yourself to win. So thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend.
Get some more money.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys could definitely share your I'm copying and pasting everyone's headline. But I'm gonna go ahead and follow you. Some of you guys I'm not following yet. And for the rest, like I said, go ahead and do that. And
More
you
money.
can,
You got an Instagram?
huh?
You have an Instagram? I never asked you that.
I do. Let me.
Do you use it? That's what I really mean.
I have I have a business Instagram and then a personal Instagram. I use the business one more.
All right, let me get, what's that one?
Yeah, go ahead and post that here. I think it's like FX Elite or something.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you told me, because if you follow me, I probably wouldn't have added you. It's too many scammers on here with FX and Instagram, man.
Yeah, that's definitely FX Elite 360. I should pop up. I think I'm the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, plug in your social media so I can go ahead and follow every one of you guys.
FX Elite.
Yeah, he Altcoin is a great guy to follow. He usually runs what do you call it, Twitter Spaces, talking about the Web3. So I would recommend following him.
Okay. Which one are you? Because you got like some competition.
Who, me?
FX Elite. Yeah, you got a bunch of people who copying you.
It's got my my photo on it. FX Elite 360. It's weird. I was the only one.
360. Okay, 360. Okay. That was okay. Now I got you. There we go. Look at my boy. I know him personally, y'all. So that's why I'm laughing. I like this photo.
That is funny. Let me get my notes. There you go. Sticky notes. Post all of us, right?
Inspector Cole. Make sure I definitely follow you, my brother.
Inspector.
Okay.
You.
Oh, I forgot to give y'all my Instagram. Man, I just had one deleted not too long ago. I started a new one.
And then we have. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for being here and spending time with me. I know you guys' time is extremely valuable. This was great. First time doing this, it was great. I really appreciate all of you guys. I can't wait to do another one. Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to do another one. Hopefully with more people and better topics, good topics to talk about.
Most definitely. Thanks for having us on, man. This was helpful.
You're very welcome.
Wait. Everyone.
I already follow Inspector. Dope. All right. Connery Project. Okay. Or is that an Instagram tagline? Or
Yeah,
is,
that's
oh,
me.
all right. Got it.
Make sure everybody get it. I wish I know how to get my old one back.
Awesome. I don't want to make this any longer, so I'll go ahead and close this. See you guys. I'll see you guys on the flip side and then in our next talk.
All right. Thank you, my man.
You're welcome. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the last day of the weekend. Bye-bye.
Hey.
Thanks. We'll see you.